Welcome to another video on Access 2016. Today we're going to be looking at creating a navigation system so we can control the database without actually having to see all of the menus. The way we're going to be doing this is using the built-in navigation system which is on the Create tab in Access. And you can see here there's a drop-down box that says navigation. And there's lots of different layouts of navigation that we can use. I like to use the horizontal tabs and vertical tabs on the left. The reason being is that all of the horizontal tabs across the top we can use to create categories. And the categories that we're going to create are things like looking at historic data and being able to print that out, and creating new data. And there's lots of ways that we can actually categorize our forms and our reports. So we're going to be using this one today. Clicking on it, we can see that, if I just move the field list out of the way, across the top we've got add new, and down the side on the left hand side we've got add new as well. The way that this works is, as I just said, the tabs across the top are categories, and the tabs down the side are the individual parts of the database that fit underneath that category. So the place we start is by clicking on the category at the top and giving it a name. What we're going to be using initially are the 4 forms that we've created already, which are adding new information to the database. What we're going to probably going to name this new. I should call it add new info. Okay, now I've created a title for that new tab. You can see that there's another new tab on the top that's opened up. What we want to do is make sure that we clicked on our first tab, and now what we can do is we can click and drag our forms that fit underneath this category, and the ones that I'm going to put in here are new client. You see I've just clicked new client form, put it onto the tab on the left hand side, and it's put the new client form inside the window here. And then I'm going to add new salesperson, and again it puts the new salesperson form inside, and the other one is going to be new vehicle. So here we have on our first tab, add new info, we can add a new client, new salesperson, and new vehicle. On our second tab, I'm going to title that sales, and then make sure sales is clicked on, and I'm going to add new sale form to the tab there. So we now have our 2 categories, add new info and sales, and each of those have a different set of forms in their left hand menu set. There we go. So obviously this menu system, this navigation system, isn't yet customized for our client. There's quite a bit that we can do on this navigation form. We can create up here in the header, we can create our company logo, or put our company logo. We can just make sure that the whole branding of the company exists here. Going back a few videos when we were looking at creating forms, this is the reason why all we've put in our header for our form is the name of the form. We haven't put any branding in there at all, because we can quite easily put the branding in the top of the navigation form. So when we're actually going through our forms, it's present up here at the top left hand corner, rather than having to repeat it again on every individual form. It saves us a lot of work. We will need to brand this, and next time I create a new video, you'll come back and you'll see that good old Clive's Cars database is fully branded. So welcome back. I've spent a little time modifying the navigation system to incorporate the company branding for Clive's Cars sales. This is more like the database will look when it's being used by the end user. I've modified all of the tabs and the forms. Just putting Access back to its normal working look. The way that I've done this is in the design view, the properties sheet, which is up here in design view, it pops up on the right hand side when we click that. For each part of the database, there's a set of properties. A lot of these are to do with the color, border style, font style, and everything else. Just by going through these and obviously creating some sort of design beforehand, and making sure that you know the hexadecimal color codes for each of the colors that you want to use. When I do this, I got this image from where did I get it from? Can't remember which website, but I searched it on Google Images, and I looked for images that I can use legally under Creative Commons license, and then I modified it by putting the text on. I modified it in paint.net, which is a very free alternative to Photoshop. It has a very effective color picker, and with the image open in paint.net, I was able to find exactly what the hexadecimal color codes are for each part of the image that I wanted to use in my design. These hexadecimal color codes obviously go into the properties sheet, and the foreground color, which is F9 FF, which is a white. So the foreground color we're looking at is the text inside this element over here. I've set to this color, it's not quite white, and then the background color of that box is up here, back color, and I've set it to this green. The best way to actually start using these colors is using the color picker, which is from the ellipses here. Go to more colors, and then actually adding the hexadecimal color code in here, so it actually picks it for you. When you've done that, from then on, inside your color picker here, that color is going to be available for you at least until you close down Access again. So I get all of the colors I'm going to use into recent colors, and then I can quickly and easily just go through my elements and change them to the colors that I've already used. There we go. So make sure that you do create a color design, a plan, and before you start, it makes it a lot easier. And then you can just quite quickly and easily make your database look like a piece of software rather than a database. There we go. So remember, all buttons, they have the selected view, the unselected view, and the hover view. So you'll need to think of 3 different colors for each of the tabs. Also, another thing that I'm thinking about is alignment is very important in design. I've been through each of my forms now that they're sitting inside my navigation, and I've made the top left hand corner of all of the labels for each of the boxes line up exactly in the same place. This is quite easy because in design view there is a nice grid that sits behind everything, so make sure that you're using alignment well. Yep, the only last thing I need to say is that now that we have our database, all of our forms sitting inside our navigation bar, any changes and additions that you make to the database, make from within the navigation bar. Don't work on these forms individually outside of the navigation. You can, so if you were to open up a form, you can see it outside of the navigation, but the difference is now that all of these boxes, all of these text boxes and combo boxes, they have an address, they have a place where they can be found by the database. It's all very well and good, but the problem is that address changes now that it's inside the navigation form. So if we were to be like we will be doing for our next video, which is on our new sales, we're going to be creating a query, it's an update query that changes a record in the vehicle table when we click this complete sale. What that change is going to be is the vehicle that we've just sold is going to be marked as sold in the vehicle table. So this checkbox is going to be checked. We're going to do that by getting the ID from this box of the vehicle that's been selected. Remember, the ID is hidden, is in the hidden column. So the address of that ID, or the location of that ID, is different when it's in the navigation bar, in the navigation system, as it would be if it wasn't in the navigation system. So it's really important that we firstly create this navigation system and put our forms in before we start creating anything that involves a location. For example, like selecting a value in one combo box and that affecting the values that are available in the next combo box. So anything that uses the value that's from one box or one combo box to do something else, we must do it from within the navigation. That will make more sense in the next video, which I'll be starting very soon. Hopefully that all makes sense to you. I'm going to finish